Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Grisaffi.
And I'm Sara Gaston.
And welcome to our first episode of What Have I Gotten Myself Into?
Where we will tell terrifying tales from the set.
Sets where we show up and we say, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Exactly.
You've got a really, actually scary story to share. Do you want to share that first?
I have a couple of scary stories. The hotel one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, both involve hotels, actually,
that's
really.
weird.
Yeah.
One's a haunted hotel, too.
One is haunted. So one time I showed up on set, and it was at a very questionable hotel in a very questionable part of town, and that was the point. And I show up, and I mean, this is the type of place where you might rent the room by the hour. And I show up, and I'm alone, and I'm female, and I can't find anyone. And so I'm sitting there in, my car with the windows rolled up, and they're like, well, just come on down to da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I don't want to have somebody come and get me. And so I waited until everybody got there, and, the crew and everything was set up. So I had sort of a contingent of people around me, but I was literally afraid to, get out of my car. And then the funny thing about that set, in addition to the scary thing, is that so it takes place primarily in a hotel room, and we had filmed for about half a day on, the ground floor, and they said, okay, well, we're going to do a reverse shot, but it was supposed to be a second floor shot, okay, the reversal, which meaning, it was coming from inside the hotel room out. And I said, well, yeah, but you realize that we've been filming on the first floor, and so the shots won't match. And they're like, ah! And so they had to hurry up and rent another hotel room on the upstairs floor so that the shots would match.
And just so I understand properly, when you say the shots don't match, they shot part of it downstairs in a hotel room at the parking lot level.
Correct.
So you could see, in that shot, you could clearly see they were at the ground level.
Yeah.
You could see the parking lot.
Right.
And then when they wanted to turn the camera around in a different hotel room, which sometimes you can cheat locations like that.
Right.
That's not the issue, but the issue is when they look outside the hotel door, it's clear you're on the second floor.
Yeah, you're clear that we were in two different hotel rooms.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
That's a rookie mistake, and that's kind of a reflection of how the whole thing's planned.
Yes, exactly. And I am a big believer in, I know my role, I stay in my lane, I don't speak up. But in this particular instance, especially because I was starring in this thing, and I, obviously wanted to go well, I was like, I wonder if I just, that kind of thing.
I gotta think there's a thing.
Yeah, and so as tactfully as possible, I just pointed that out, and they went, oh crap, and so they fixed that. Anyway, it went well, and
the final product was good.
Oh yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, and it's still in my demo reel.
And the thing from a filmmaking aspect, sometimes that stuff can be invisible to the audience when the performances are engrossing.
This is true. Yeah.
If you watch film, if you pick a film apart, you can find all kinds of mistakes that you didn't catch the first time because you were so engrossed in the storytelling.
Yeah.
But that's kind of flagrant. That's a big deal when you look. You're in the parking lot for one shot, then you turn around and you're clearly looking out a balcony. Yeah. When you're supposed to be in the same place.
Right. And I think there was this whole bit where, the protagonist had to stumble up some stairs along the balcony and all this kind of stuff. So it's just one of those here's the thing about production. It's there's so many moving parts, and there's so many things that you have to be thinking about. And especially if you're newer, or if your crew's not really big, or your crew is inexperienced, I mean, stuff like that happens.
Yes.
So tell me about your terrifying tale.
I've got a couple.
And then I've got another one.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. So I've got several. I'm going to share one or two with you today.
Okay.
So let me see. Which one do I want to tell first?
Tell the machine gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was cast in a film.
And then I'll tell Haunted Farm.
I was cast in a film that the scene I was in took place at a strip club. And no big deal. Done plenty of strip club things over the years.
Strip clubs, apparently.
And the thing was, we had an early morning call at this nightclub that was an all-night club. So with our 6 a.m. call time, the club was still open. So I pull up to this club, and
is it on Richmond?
I believe it was on Richmond. I pulled up to the...
We'll talk later.
Okay, I pull up to the club. It's not a strip club. It's just a club.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But I pull up to the club, and there's a crowd of people outside, and I'm thinking, okay, this is the people, extras, waiting to get in.
The crowd.
And I realize quickly that they're not. The club's still open, and there's a guy out there waving around, showing off his machine gun. And I'm thinking, what have I gotten myself into? It turned out to be fine, but I take that. That part of it was fine. The film itself was a wreck, very poorly planned, and I had a small part, like 4 lines, and I think the director was throwing me in as a favor, which I don't do anymore.
Which wasn't
don't throw me a bone anymore. I want a real role.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get around to finishing my stuff. So I sat there. It was a 14-hour day. And finally they said, we're just not going to get to it, Joe. When are you available another time? And I said, well, we'll get back to you when we reschedule. So like the next day or two, I get a message saying, hey, can you come Tuesday? And I said, well, you know what? I've got a small window of time, 2 to 4, that I can come do my scene.
Yeah.
And of course, never heard from them again.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I bet I know what that. Yeah,
we're not going to name names on video here, but
Tom Smith.
Don't name names.
Oh, that's right.
So that's one.
It's not real. It's not.
Another one. I'll make this one brief,
Okay.
and this is not anything scary, but it's like, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah.
I
think they know the title.
I know, but it's fine to repeat it. Hey, come on.
But
I don't recall if I went to audition for this thing or they cast me from headshot and demo reel, but we all met at this office space to meet the director and to learn what role we were getting and to maybe it was the audition. I don't remember. Anyway,
learn what role you were getting.
It was. We were there. I was there. There's
days.
I know. It was like 12 or 15 people, and we must have waited an hour and a half, or at least I did. And I finally said to the person that was representing the production, I'm going. If you guys want me in the film, great, let me know. But this is kind of ridiculous that the director's not here.
Yeah.
We can't do anything. We've been here for an hour and a half. What have I gotten myself into?
Yeah.
And I get a text later that they gave me a role. And
was it as the angry man?
I don't remember because I didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do it. I've ended up in this group text thing where you know how those things turn out. They go off topic very quickly.
Yeah.
And they're like, we put you on this text group to keep you informed about the production, and everyone's like, okay, great, thanks. And it evolves into this thing. People start texting jokes. And I said, guys, I'm leaving this group. You can find me. You have my number. Call me when I'm needed.
Yeah.
Well, I had a date and a time, and I showed up where I was supposed to be, but because I wasn't in this text group, I didn't know that they changed it. So I'm sitting there in this parking lot for an hour waiting for the production. I finally just left and texted them and say, hey, I've been here a while, and I'm done. You're going to have to recast me. I'm done. And they tried to call me. They actually tried to call me repeatedly to make up for it, and I just ignored the calls.
You were done on a bed.
I'm done.
Yeah.
No more nonsense like that.
No more nonsense.
When we were younger and new to this, we had a lot more patience.
Yes, but enough about that. Let's talk about more terrifying
Yes.
stuff. Okay. So I got cast in a movie, and I was given an address in this very small Texas town that's about 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Houston. And so, like, if you're going from Houston to Dallas, this is like west of there. It's just like in the middle of nowhere. And I get
And it really is the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around there.
Yeah, it's like it's a farm, right?
It was. It's not a. I don't know if it was a farm, but it's a place to. It's an actual place to stay.
Yeah, it's like a. I don't know. It's like this kind of rambling hotel dormitory type thing, but it's on this big piece of land, like literally, like at, you go down the dirt road, and there's the guy in the blue hat, and there's the tumbleweed goes by, and there you are. I mean, it was that kind of thing.
It's a very famous B-movie horror film was filmed at that location.
Yes. So that's and this was a scary true story that we were telling. Anyway, so I'd gotten all the information from my agent, and so I drive out there, and the director, who's the only person that I know other than some other cast members, is not there. And there are a couple of really seedy looking guys. And I'm out there in the middle of nowhere by myself, and I can't get a hold of the director. And, I don't know if I'm going to be killed and stuffed in a trunk. Anyway, and there was a lot of other weird stuff that happened anyway. So I go in there, and these guys are introducing themselves and said, yeah, we're part of the movie. And then the guy who kind of runs the place was like, oh, yeah, we put you in this room because we were supposed to spend the weekend there. We were going to film and then, also stay there. And it was like this kind of flea-bitten type of place. And they were like, I hope they're, like, literally, they were like, yeah, I hope there are no fleas in here. And I was like, oh, lovely. And like the bathroom, like the lock wasn't secure. I mean, it was just like, no way, Jose. And then I'm going to, I don't know these guys. So I'm not going to go to this building in the middle of nowhere with these people I don't know. And so I called my agent, and I was crying, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And they're like, just, get a hotel. We'll have production reimburse you. It's fine. And then Joe was kind enough to come out and keep me company, even though he wasn't supposed to film. He was, going to be on it too. And but he wasn't going to be filming that day. And then luckily about that time, another cast member who I knew shows up with his girlfriend. And so by this time, I'd been waiting a while, and then we just decided to go to and we were supposed to start shooting that afternoon. So we decided to go get something to eat at this restaurant, and basically we didn't hear hide nor hair from the director until midnight. And then, oh no, I don't even think I heard from him that night. I don't think I ever heard from him. But I found out that he had gotten in at midnight and hadn't heard, and my agency hadn't heard. And so the next morning I get a call, and they're like, yeah, you need to be on set by 11. And I was like with not an apology, not an explanation. And I was like livid, and I was like, what happened? And you left me waiting. What's going on? In hindsight, I should have let my agent chew him out. But I was so shocked that happened, and then there was no apology or explanation. It was just like, hey, we're going to need you on set in an hour, and it was a big dramatic scene. So, I had to bring it. And so luckily I was able to channel my rage into the scene.
Was that at the prison?
That's the prison.
So we stayed at this place, and
yeah.
I was trying to put it all together,
right?
Because I was there,
and I did film that scene in one take because I had a lot of emotion churning through me. So, my children, that is an example of how you can take all the energy from a questionable audition or on-set experience and use it in your work. So,
yes,
yeah.
Something, when I was younger and wanted to do independent films and be a part of independent films, I really wanted to be a part of some of these gritty films something like the gritty films that I watched. Just a low budget stuff. That was not your taste at all, but just
right.
the gritty, low budget,
kind
cheap looking, but popular.
Like guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah, I'm talking like Basket Case and
yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you got these great stories, behind the scenes stories to tell about what it took to do it, because you were against all odds and everything was against you, and you didn't have the money, and it was hot and rainy, and
you suffered.
You suffered for your art. But after suffering for our art, I
No moss.
No, there's got to be something else in it to suffer like that.
No moss suffering.
Especially when the films don't get released.
Let's not even go down that rabbit hole. No, if you have ever read Michael Caine's Acting in Film, and if you haven't, you absolutely should. But he talks about this very thing, about how like when you're young and you're hungry, like you'll do all this stuff, you know, because you just like want to work. And he's like, you know, you reach a point where you're like, how nice of a hotel will I be staying in? So where are we filming? You know, and
he'll pick his roles based on the country it's filming in.
Yeah, like if it's a cool place and like if the accommodations are super nice, you know. So, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got. I'm sure there's much more that's terrifying, but
I'll come up with something for our next episode. But yours were really knowing what you went through and having been there for at least the second one.
Yeah.
I'd be scared. You're a woman alone in this place, and the sun goes down, and there's limited electricity. I remember that. It wasn't like a well-lit place.
Cell service. Oh, my, yeah.
It was the making of a horror film.
Behind the scenes was horrifying.
So, as a male, I would have been scared if I pulled up and found myself in Sarah's situation in that case.
Yeah, it was really, it was not my most fun that I've ever had on set.
So we'll be back with another episode of What Have I Gotten Myself Into?
Yeah.
And thank you for watching this one.
Yeah, and we'll have guests maybe.
Yes, we're going to reach out to our actor friends and see if they have any bizarre stories to tell.
Oh, not if.
No,
we
all have.
We just want to know if they'll actually tell us. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not going to tell them to name names.
No. We'll actually tell them not to name names.
Yeah. So
Tom Smith.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to my channel and Sarah's channel.
Yep. Sara Gaston, thanks.
Joe Grisaffi. We'll see you later.